Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'll talk about what's going on to better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. Here we go.
Hello, I'm Deputy Chief Sharice Hadnot of the Dallas Police Department's Investigation Bureau. I will brief you on the details as we know them of the officer-involved shooting that occurred on July 27, 2022 at 13015 Jupiter Road, Dallas, Texas. This is the fourth officer-involved shooting involving a Dallas police officer in 2022. Body-worn camera will be shown in this incident at the end of the presentation. On July 27, 2022, Dallas police officers were investigating drug complaints outside the LBJ Food Mart in the 1300 block of Jupiter Road. While in the parking lot, an undercover officer saw 30-year-old Kyle Dail make multiple hand-to-hand drug sales, then get into driver's side of a Nissan Versa and leave the gas station. The officers followed the vehicle and saw a traffic violation and requested a marked patrol car to make a traffic stop. At around 10:25 p.m. at 635 in Skillman, the officers attempted to stop the vehicle. The driver did not stop, and officers and Air One attempted to follow the car, but lost sight of the suspect and the operation was called off. Around 11:35 p.m., Dail returned to the gas station and entered the business. An officer recognized the vehicle and Dail as the suspect who had refused to stop for police and called the officers to respond and take him into custody for the evading offense. At around 11:43 p.m., officers Thomas Hoffman, Noah Hem, and Michael Perrin of Northeast Patrol responded and entered the store, locating Dail standing facing the back wall. The officers approached Dail from behind and attempted to arrest him. The suspect started to resist the officers, and officers struggled to take him into custody. During the struggle, Dail pulled a handgun from his waistband as officers attempted to gain physical control over him. After the suspect produced the handgun, Officer Hoffman fired his department-issued weapon, hitting the suspect. After reviewing the store surveillance cameras and officers' body-worn cameras, detectives saw the suspect remove the handgun from his waistband with his right hand, then transfer the weapon to his left hand. An officer can be heard on the body-worn camera warning the other officers the suspect had a gun. A moment before being shot by Officer Hoffman, the suspect is seen on the surveillance video tossing the weapon into the adjacent aisle. Officer Hoffman is the only officer to discharge his weapon in this incident. Officers took possession of the suspect's weapon and requested Dallas Fire and Rescue to the scene. Dail was taken to Presbyterian Hospital where he remains in critical condition. Dallas Police Special Investigation Unit responded and continues to investigate this incident. In an effort to be transparent, the Dallas Police Department is releasing the body-worn camera footage of this incident.
Okay, so recap. This dude is out front of this gas station dealing drugs, and he leaves. He doesn't know that he's being followed, and police go to initiate a traffic stop on him. He attempts to flee and evade, and he succeeds at it, and then he goes right back to the fucking spot where he's been dealing drugs. Not the smartest person, you know. He's not the brightest crayon in the box, so to speak. Now, what does that tell me? It tells me two things. One, this is his playground. Like, this is where he feels comfortable at. He's in his comfort zone with this place. He's probably been doing this for a while. Secondly, it tells me that he probably had no idea that he was being watched at this location. Probably had no idea that there were undercover units watching him, saw him make all these transactions, probably got it on recording, and probably had no idea that they were behind him or were following him when he left. I would say that he probably, whenever the marked unit came in behind him and tried to initiate traffic stop, he probably just assumed it was because he was driving like shit, which happens a lot with these drug dealers. They can't drive for fuck. They can't. They drive like they got their damn license out of a Cracker Jack box, which is interesting too, because that's how that's how a lot of drug busts are made. Just simple traffic stops, like simple shit, like your fucking tail light being out, rear license plate not illuminated, changing without signal, running stop sign, like basic petty shit leads to big drug arrests. And I don't know, like these drug dealers, like sometimes they do shit that, it shows a level of intelligence, like they're smart, but other times they just keep doing the same bullshit, and it's like, are these people like just utterly fucking retarded? Like, you think that they would have figured out by now, me driving like shit is what gets me caught all the time. Like, if I wasn't driving like shit, they never would have caught me. If all the drug dealers out there started driving like they had some sense, we'd probably see a big, huge decrease in drug crimes. Without the simple traffic stops, a lot of this shit just wouldn't happen. So, like I said, he probably saw the marked unit and was like, oh shit, bro, they caught me running that stop sign or speeding. Like, he probably had no idea that it was tied back to this place right here. So, naturally, he felt safe coming back to his comfort zone after the end of that pursuit. And as you'll see, he's in the back getting himself some refreshments in the back. I guess that high-speed pursuit he went on really quenched his thirst, so he's back there fulfilling his needs, getting some refreshments. One, his comfort zone is this place, and then two, he had no fucking idea that he's been watched. So this actually happens a lot across the country with places like this. These drug dealers will just post up at these kind of public places, usually gas stations, because it's almost like a form of camouflage in a way. Multiple vehicles pull in and pull out, pull in, pull out, pull in, pull out. That's a gas station. That's normal everyday activity. It's not normal to see that same activity in a residential area. To see a car pull in and leave, and another car pull in and leave, and another car pull in and leave, and another car pull in and leave, all fucking day and at the same house, that's odd. That's suspect, right? Not so much at a gas station. It's, like I said, it's kind of like a form of camouflage. To the outside person. To the inside person, the people who work there, they're there 8, 10, 12 hours a day working. They notice these motherfuckers. They see them outside. These dudes have to go piss at some point. They might whip their dick out and piss out in the parking lot. But chances are they're probably coming inside using the bathroom and then going back out and doing their shit. Probably coming in, getting them a drink, getting them a Black and Mild, whatever, and then going back out there. So the people who are working here, they know what's up. They know what's going on. They see those faces day in, day out. See the people loitering out in the parking lot, and they know what's going on. But they are complicit because they don't want to do anything about it. They don't want to make a move. They don't want to do a damn thing about it. So they are, in essence, harboring these criminals when they are engaging in their criminal business out in their parking lot. So that to me says that a lot of places just aren't taking a very proactive approach to address these issues. And I do think that there can be a more proactive approach in dealing with this by way of enacting nuisance properties ordinances. Now, it would be great if, an actual state-level law could come into play on that. And usually you'll see that with licensed premises like bars and nightclubs under the liquor laws and stuff. Those places, they have to maintain order on their property, or they could get what's called, in some places, like here in Kentucky, it's called a disorderly premises. So the bar owner or manager, whoever, they can get a citation for that premises being disorderly, like a bunch of people acting fucking stupid, acting crazy, whatever, and they can get a citation for that, and that ends up impacting their ability to retain their liquor license and stay in business. It's a mark against them. So there's that state level law in effect, but it's for a specific entities. It's not like a catch-all kind of thing. So I think what would be easy for towns that are experiencing issues like this is to enact nuisance property ordinances and try to work towards having laws passed to address issues like this. So if a gas station just does not do anything about people loitering out in the parking lot, posting up outside, and making it their fucking office, for lack of a better word, to go sell their drugs, well, then that business is in essence harboring them. They are allowing them to engage in that criminal enterprise out on their property, and they should be held accountable for that. They should have fines levied against them for being a nuisance property. If police are having to go out there so often and all their investigations for drug stuff, or a lot of investigations end up going right back to this place, they catch a bunch of dope dealers there, well, that property owner needs to be fined for having a nuisance property. And what that would do is that would force that owner to be like, all right, well, I guess I got to do something or else I'm going to keep getting these big-ass fines. So what are they going to do? They're going to start telling these people to get the fuck out of there. And if they themselves are not going out there personally telling these people to get the fuck out of there, they're going to hire a security company to come do that for them. The end game here is these drug dealers are going to be told to go fuck off and go somewhere else, which is better for the community. They're still going to have to go do it somewhere, but when you take away their safe place, so to speak, their sanctuary, you take that away, it hurts their business and it makes them a little bit more easily targetable, because now they're having to become a little bit more mobile. And if they're more mobile, they're driving around and they drive like shit, which is an established thing, then they're going to get caught on simple traffic stuff. Same thing with like Walmart, Kroger, Target, Kohl's, Macy's, whatever. These places, I think, should also be thrown in that kind of thing as well, because when you look at shoplifting stuff and your local police agencies, your local agencies probably spend a lot of time at places like Kohl's, Walmart, and Kroger. Maybe not so much Kroger, but more like Walmart and Kohl's and Macy's and those bigger stores that have a bunch of stuff in it. There's a lot of shoplifting shit that goes on there. And local police all across this country spend a lot of time in places like Walmart and Kohl's. A lot of time. And some of that is a little too much. Some of that, in my opinion, could be prevented and done in a way that does not require all this extensive amount of police man hours. So, unfortunately, a lot of merchants in this country, the big companies, they have basically neutered their loss prevention teams and do not allow them to go hands-on anymore. They don't allow them to go chase people down and cuff them up and put them in the loss prevention office and wait for police to come get them. Instead, they just tell them to call police and don't go touch people, don't do anything. So that, in return, ends up causing police to have to spend a lot of time in a lot of these shoplifting things. So one thing I think that could be done to help with issues like that is agencies basically tell these places, you better start utilizing your loss prevention and your private security, or we're going to stop coming. And what I mean by that is exactly that. Agencies need to start telling these managers of these places, hey, your loss prevention, better have them in cuffs sitting in the loss prevention office for us, or we're not coming. If you haven't caught them yourselves, then you just need to come to the police station during business hours and file a report. Because I think we're done past the point of the police having to go do the work for places like Walmart and spend all that fucking time dealing with them when they themselves can deal with that shit themselves. And or telling them to, detain the person, get their information, take that information, go to the county attorney's office, and have them prosecuted that way. And or change laws that allow merchants to actually lodge a person. So a lot of places, the laws allow merchants to detain a person, but they can't do anything else beyond that. They can't go lodge them in a jail. So I think if laws were passed to either A, allow for that, or B, allow for them to transport the person to the county attorney's office and have that process done there, that could alleviate a lot of police man hours being just bogged down at places like fucking Walmart and Kohl's. Anyway, that's a bit of a rant. But anyway, places like this are like comfort zones for some of these drug dealers because the people who run the places, work there, they don't fucking do shit. They don't do anything to tell them to move on or anything like that. So nuisance laws, I think, are a good thing to be able to hit a property up with and should be done more often. And like I said, you start throwing enough fines at a property because all these problems are going on, causing all these police services to come there, they're going to have to do something, or else they're going to be drowning in fines. And so what are they going to do? They're going to get proactive themselves because they're going to get sick and tired of getting these fines. And so they're going to go out there and they're going to tell these fucking drug dealers to beat feet and go somewhere else. And then these places will become less problematic. Anyway, moving on.
Don't fucking move. Don't move. I'm not moving. Put your hands. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. Okay, just relax. Give him his hands. Give him your hands. I'm not moving. Give him your hands. I'm not moving. Give him your hands. I can't see. You don't need to see. I can't see. I can't see. I'm gonna taste you. No. I'm gonna taste you. Give me your hands. Good.
Alright, so we didn't get to see, it's hard to see a whole lot with this. This officer comes up and kind of starts to put him in a rear double arm hook, it looks like.
I'm not moving. Put your hands. I'm not moving. Okay, just relax. Give him his hands. Give him your hands. I'm not moving. Give him your hands. I'm not moving. Give him your hands. I can't see. You don't need to see. I can't see. I'm gonna taste you. No. I'm gonna taste you. Give me your hands. Good.
So not much to see there.
Don't fucking move. Don't move. I'm not moving. Give your hands.
So I think what sucks for this officer is he seemed to have good control over that limb. He got torqued up pretty good. And then boom, he hits the Fanta strawberry and the Coca-Cola. And shit starts spraying everywhere. And of course it makes it a slippery situation here for him. So he probably lost grip of him because all this shit started spraying out.
Give your hand. Give your hand. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. Give me your hand. Okay. Give me your hand. I'm not moving. I got 298. Cover code 13015 Jupiter Code.
Now, he also appears to be utilizing his radio at this point.
Cover code 13015 Jupiter Code.
So, if you're hands-on with someone, it's situational dependent. So if you're by yourself and you're got hands-on someone and you haven't made out that radio call yet, yeah, like, you can take your hand off momentarily to press the oh shit button or say, I got one fighting, need backup, whatever. But if there's multiple of you, whoever's not hands-on can be the one talking on that radio at that point. There's no need for you to be taking your hands off someone when there's multiple people around who can be the talking on the radio. So I've talked about this before. If there's multiple people on scene, one person needs to either A, be designated the radio person by someone in charge, or B, that person recognizes, hey, I have nothing else that I'm doing right now. I'm not hands-on with this person. I'm probably the best one to either A, be on the radio, or B, be doing something else. And at this point, being on the radio would be kind of important, saying, hey, we got one fighting, we need help. We can see that he kind of has a grip on this guy's arm, but he does not have control over this limb. And he starts to try to get a hold on him, and the guy ends up going down and grabbing the gun. And again, there wasn't much to be able to see from that other than just the little things I pointed out because they were so close to each other that the camera is just occluded. This is probably the best footage showing what happened. Here he goes back to his little refreshment area. Go give him a little drink. That high-speed pursuit really, quenches thirst.
Don't fucking move. Don't move. I'm not moving. Put your hand. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. Okay, just relax. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. I'm not moving. Give him your hand. I'm not moving. Give him your hand. I can't see. I can't see. I'm gonna chase you. No. I'm gonna chase you. Give me your hand. God.
So you see it come out. Now, one officer fires, but they don't point out which officer it is. We see him pull his gun out, and then at that first footage, roll it back to here.
I'm not moving. Okay, just relax. Give him his hand. Give him your hand. I'm not moving. God!
This officer pulls his taser out.
I'm gonna chase you. No, chase you. Give me your hand. God!
But we don't hear a shot coming from him or anything like that. And if he did shoot, then damn it, like that's a hard shot to take right there with someone, a friendly, being directly right behind him. So I'm not so sure that it's this officer that's fired. I think it's the other officer who was to his back who fired.
I'm not moving. Okay, just relax.
But like I said, I can't say that for sure because they don't really provide details like that.
I can't see. I'm gonna chase you. No, chase you. Give me your hand. God! See, I'm gonna chase you. No, chase you. Give me your hand.
So, like I said, I don't know if it's this officer who shoots or if it's the other officer that shoots. If it was the other officer that shot, then that dude was a pretty good shot making that shot from, I mean, he wasn't at a far distance, but he was up close. But making that shot with 2 friendlies right on top of this guy and him making a hit on the dude, he did pretty good. If he was the one who fired, which I don't think he is. I think this guy is the guy who fired. It just makes more sense to me that this is probably the one who did end up shooting. So, this dude pulls a gun out of his waistband, and you see it. It's clear view right there. He does transition it to his left hand and starts to throw it. But in the fight, when fight, flight, freeze kicks in, there are some physiological and psychological things that occur as a response to that. One thing that occurs is called tunnel vision. You start to lose a lot of your peripheral vision. So, it's plausible that this officer, during the struggle, saw the gun. That fight mode, that fight-flight thing, started to really amp up in him. Peripherals start going down. He's in fear for his life. He's reaching down, trying to get his gun. And because he's lost peripheral vision at this point,
I can't see!
So you may have seen it and then did not see the transition occur. And had no idea that it got thrown. Him in his position with the dude being faced away from him, some people would call attention to that and say that there's a problem with shooting someone in the back. I personally don't see anything wrong with it. A target's a target, and someone with their back turned to you can still shoot you. They can just point the gun behind them and fire blindly. That's still as deadly as someone facing you and aiming the gun at you. So this idea that shooting someone in the back is wrong, this is coming from people who base most of their shit off what they see on TV. What has Hollywood shown them? And they take that and they think that it applies to real world, and it doesn't. Not at all. Like, you see in Hollywood movies, someone shoots at a car and they shoot the gas tank and the fucking car blows up. That shit don't happen. Like, that's fucking buffoonery. Or, you know, the police shooting the person in the arm to wound them, to, you know, stop them. That don't fucking happen either. So there's a bunch of just outlandish kind of bullshit that goes on in movies, and people believe in that shit. And this idea of shooting someone in the back is something that is perpetuated by Hollywood as a wrong kind of thing. Even going back to, you know, like old Western things or whatever, you know. The two guys having a duel, they got to be facing each other. That's the manly thing to be doing. You got to be facing each other. You can't shoot another guy in the back. That's wrong. That's not manly enough. Blah, blah, blah. These people who believe in that kind of shit, again, they're just people who watch movies. They don't understand a fucking thing. They don't understand reality. They don't have any concept of this type of stuff. So there's nothing wrong with putting rounds into the back of a target. You're still trying to achieve the desired effect, and that is to stop the threat. How you go about doing that doesn't matter. They're a threat at this point. They are a threat to everyone's life. You don't have to be facing someone to be able to shoot them. You can be turned away from them and start shooting and hit. In a close proximity like this, all that dude has to do is just tuck that gun to his side and aim behind him, and just start pulling the trigger as fast as he can. And he's going to hit one of those two. So do you think that it's a good idea to tell people, no, you can't shoot them right now if they got their back to you while they're shooting at you. You got to wait till they turn and face you. That's the only time you can shoot them. If you really, truly believe that, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I can say or show to you to prove to you just how fucking stupid you are. If you truly believe that kind of shit, then you're kind of a lost cause at this point. You're a person who believes in fucking fairy tales, and there's no helping you. There's no fixing you. You're beyond repair. You're about as useless as a fucking football bat. So, no problems with if this was the officer who fired. No problem with him shooting the way that he did. He saw a deadly threat, and he feared for his life, and he acted on that. And so what if the dude had his back turned to him? It is what it is. Now, could this have been approached differently? Potentially, yes. So at the beginning, he's up here, ready to get his... Well, one, he's putting a shirt on, but he's back here to get a refreshment. He's going to get him a Fanta, or he might be getting some coffee back here. Don't know. These officers roll in, and they just start to snatch him up. Could they have stood back at a distance and covered him with lethal cover and less lethal cover and started giving him verbal commands? Yeah, they could have. Would he still have resisted? Most likely, yes. I would not be surprised if they had done that, if the dude just would have fucking completely ran towards them with the intentions of trying to run past them. People have done that before. So, him coming up and initiating contact like this, just taking that guy by surprise, I don't have a big issue with that at all. You can use the element of surprise to you. I think things were kind of okay up until the point the Coca-Cola and the Fanta started spraying everywhere. And I think that this guy lost a good grip on this dude's right limb, and then he was able to reach down and start grabbing the gun and everything. If that had not happened, I'd say there's probably a good chance that they could have gotten this guy under control. This other officer over here, I think, should have, since he was not exactly hands-on, two people going hands-on, I think that, he could have gotten his taser out and had it ready. And a few seconds into this guy continuing to resist, then he should have just went ahead and popped his ass with taser. If they're resisting this long, then they're going to continue to resist, and they're going to fight all the way to the ground. Why increase your risks of having injuries occur to you or to that person by continuing to try and physically fight them with brute force of your physical force, your arms and hands? Go ahead and deploy that taser on them, achieve NMI, and arrest under power.
I'm not moving. I'm not moving. Okay, just
So at this point, would have been a perfect opportunity for him to grab the taser, fire into this guy's belt line area, achieve an MI, get him all the way down to the ground, and cuff him up.
I'm not moving. Give him your hand. I'm not moving. Give him your hand. I can't see.
Especially at this point.
No, taser, give me your hand.
And the threatening of the taser. Again, we're past this point of threatening to use force. Like, this guy has already shown that he's not going to cooperate. Just fucking do the thing, right? Like, just do it. Sometimes I think that there's too much time is wasted trying to give verbal commands to people, trying to tell them to comply. Like, they've been telling him for the last few seconds to basically comply, and he's not. Like, he's still fucking resisting. You're just wasting time by delaying what needs to be done. And when you're wasting time and you don't do that, you're giving this person more ability to think about their actions and what they're going to do. They're going through that OODA process, and they're formulating a plan. Even while being resisted, or resisting force and everything. They're formulating a plan and they're trying to work this solution and get out of it. And you standing there fucking talking to them and getting shit done. That's just giving them more time to work the problem and figure out how to get loose. Just use force. Like, force is the answer in cases like this. Everyone seems to have taken a nosedive off the la cliff when it comes to de-escalation. There's so much emphasis on de-escalation, trying to talk people down, talk people down, talk people down, talk people down, talk. At some point, talking becomes ineffective. At some point, talking becomes counterproductive. At some point, talking becomes deadly. And in this case, talking became deadly. If they don't want to fucking listen on the first few commands and they're actively resisting, fuck them up. Do a hard takedown. Fire taser into them. Gain compliance over them. Do not be afraid to use justifiable force. Talking gets people... Sometimes talking gets people hurt. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it just doesn't work. In the case of this guy, who's already fucking fled, has already gone through all this bullshit, and is now actively resisting when there's 2 police officers there, it's time. Like, you've already crossed multiple lines in the sand at this point. 1,000,000 green lights have already flashed. Like, it is time to fucking escalate the force here. Do a hard takedown. Do fucking taser. Whatever. Get this guy into cuffs. If they had amped it up, would it have resulted in this? Well, I can't say that with any 100% certainty, just like I can't say anything without any 100% certainty in anything. There's so many variables involved in these kind of things. That's why I don't like what-if situations a whole lot. Well, what if this happens? Well, I don't fucking know, because there's 20 other fucking things that could be going on as well that would change the outcome, that would change how I would want to do something. So many variables involved. I can't say 100% sure that if they had amped up their force and just did a hard takedown, or just fucking shot him with a taser right from the get-go, if this would have prevented him reaching for the gun, getting a hold of it, and then being shot. I would say that it probably would have increased the odds of them being able to take him down and get him into cuffs without him getting a hold of that gun. But can't say that for sure. Not much else to say about this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.